welcome back to another episode of Mic'd Up. We have some very special guests with us, the guys from 2Gais1Room.
Yeah. And so we have today here Joshua as well as Justin.
Hello.
Yep.
What's up?
And this is part 2 from our continuation with them previously. So our topics today will be about life after uni, about them. Mostly it's going to be their stories lah. So, any one of you guys, do you guys have any expectations when you were about to graduate?
Before we start anything, right, I just want to thank Shun for making us wait so long. This is the amount of time that we've waited.
Okay.
You went for it. You're a guest. Yeah.
I apologize. You know, I was late for an hour. Okay, it was my bad. I'm so sorry for making you guys wait.
No, bro, we're just joking, bro.
You joke on our podcast, never mind. You go
Oh,
on my
God.
podcast.
It's
You're
okay.
an asshole.
It's the collab one. It's fine.
Yeah, and about expectations.
Yeah, actually, we our recent
Yeah.
episode that we filmed was actually about expectations, also about how we had different expectations when we went into uni. So before we actually entered uni, during the 3 years, because at year 1, year 2, year 3, also I think our view about university and jobs and everything changed, and then after uni also it changed. But you want to start first? You go on.
Yeah, cause like I think both of us started with the expectation of like acting is different actually. So
Very.
I expected something really different. So when I joined uni, it's more of like I just wanted a degree. And before this course, my mom, how I know about psychology was because my mom goes to a psychiatrist. And I didn't want to take a psychiatry course because it's like it involves like a medical degree, which is not something that I really want to do. So I always thought psychology is only about personality and reading people's minds. So that's something that I was really interested in back then lah. But when I joined the course, everything changed because like there are research papers, quali, quanti, and whatever shit that we learn there.
Yes, yes.
But then you learn about different theories and different perspectives and how you see things there. And that's where it opened up my mind to like different, how do I say, different angles to see things. So for example, perspectives. So when you see someone acting that way, right, you wouldn't think, oh, it's just the family. You would start to see like it's just maybe the friends, maybe their family, maybe their parents, maybe their environment or whatever friends that they have. Yeah, so through there I started to learn more about how people behave and why they do so. Yeah, so I expected something different when I started the course. And as I went through the 3 years, it's sort of like, cause I did pretty well during my 3 years. So I thought, oh, maybe if I can get a first class honors, which I did, then everything would be alright already.
He has to sprinkle
And
that
that
in.
was completely wrong. Cause like I thought like you have a first class, then you can like go to meetings and like they will see your results and they take you in as well. But it's a very different thing. Like, I mean, like companies nowadays, they do see. Sorry. They do take in your results into factor, but at the end of the day, it's more than just results. It's about your history, your track record, and also how much you know about the company, and a lot of things like that. Attitude is important as well.
Right.
So that's the biggest difference between what I expected and what reality really is.
Justin?
Yeah, for me actually, I went in because after I graduated at SPM, then I left Penang to come to KL, and so I told myself I had what he had as well. So I took my foundation thinking that my studies are very important. So I studied very, very hard, and I was, I was studying 2 months in advance for exams. Everything was always, all of my assignments were done 2 to 3 days in advance, completed, submitted, everything done. And then after I came into uni, it was like the stress levels became very different. As in, like I was very understimulated because I took a science foundation, so I had lab reports all the time. And so after I entered, I was like, okay, finally I get to actually study what I want to study because I wanted to take psychology to do counseling. That was my expectation. I get this, they're going to train me to be a proper counselor, everything is going to work out, and I'm going to be able to see how to read patients and everything. And then I entered year 1, and they were just like, like the whole 4 months I got 2-3 assignments only. I used to do this in a week. So then it became like, studies cannot be the only thing. This cannot be the only thing that's going to get me through. So I started working a lot of different types of jobs, a lot of side jobs, and then I got to speak to a lot of people who are already in the workforce, and they started giving me fresh perspective. Like, actually, your degree doesn't mean anything. Like, every Tom, Dick and Harry out there has a degree. So if you focus so much on your degree, right, how does that make you different? So then I was like, in year 1, I have this perspective already. Then I was like, then why do I bother to try? So then I completely changed my perspective. I started joining more clubs. I started doing more sports and trying to figure out different ways to earn money, different ways to do stuff. And by the time I was in year 3, right, I really don't give, no, in fact, year 2, I don't give a damn about my degree already. I was already looking at like, okay, how do I go for different job interviews and stuff like that. So that was the expectation then. It's like, then I just want to earn money already. I just want to find ways to improve my skill set because I already know they don't care about my grades. So I don't bother to focus on my grades anymore.
Yeah, I think Justin's emphasis is more of like the exposure that you get to different
very
experiences.
much so.
Yeah,
Very much so.
Justin found out earlier that exposure is important. I think I found out like
Much later.
late year 3, when Captain Ball is actually a thing. Yeah, then that's where I really found out, oh, this is actually important. Networking, something that will be really useful. Because like I believe without Captain Ball, we won't be talking here. So as well.
That's true.
Yeah. So those are the things that we really look for nowadays.
Were you guys like scared as you were finishing your year 3 year? What were the thoughts going through your head during that period of time, like near the end?
Scared.
I was scared.
It wasn't scary actually. Nothing really crossed my mind about the future because back then in my head it's more of like as I finish this degree I'll find a job. Like I didn't even know what job to go into. I just thought that everything would just come naturally. People would send in job offers.
Yeah, like you I have first class always. Everybody wants me
people
now.
send me job offers already. But that's not the case lah. You do have to go out there and sell yourself as well. And I landed a sales job. It's more of like a recruitment consultant job in the end. Yeah, but that's another story. So in terms of like what I was afraid of or what I was concerned about, at that point of time, back then, no. But if you ask me now, yeah, there are a lot of things in my mind that I'm still thinking about. Yeah, it's still bothering me still.
Yeah, for me it was very, very different because like my dad is very, very, he like put a lot of pressure on me. So like nothing I do is ever enough for my dad. I love him lah, but like he's very, very like strict. So like, for me, when my year 3 was coming to an end, actually I don't think I've ever told you. I told you before lah. Like the day of my final paper for my uni, right? The day itself, I got job interview. So right after I walk out of the exam hall, right? They all go party. I should go job interview already. And the next day after that, for the next few weeks, I was just packed with job interviews. I started applying before I even finished my last paper of uni because I understood that like I need to go out there to get the exposure or again to just find jobs. So like when again. My thing is like very fastened because to me it's like if I don't try it, I will not understand and I will not get it and I will not be able to plan if I don't know. So right after that, I went for job interviews. I got a job within about 2 months of my last paper. Then I was employed already.
Oh, that's fast.
Yeah, I started working already. And even then, my dad was like every day he's talking to me, why you don't have a job yet? It's been 1 month. It's been 2 months, and like to me it's like nobody else is applying. Like so that was me.
And what about your expectations, like after you leave uni, in the sense that like, do you expect anything in terms of your job or like how long you're going to be unemployed, stuff like that?
For me, right, I don't really have a lot of expectations in the sense because I kind of understood what is supposed to happen. I know what needs to happen. So I don't really leave things to expectations or chance. To me, it's more of like, what must I do now that this has happened? Not what do I wait for. So that's why the day itself of my exam I already got interviewed already because I understand that the longer I wait, the longer no money comes in, the longer I'm unemployed. But this again, it comes with different people. They have different experiences. My experience is just that I understood the degree itself is not very, very vital to me graduating. So I already have like a lot of exposure to work already. So I already know that needs to come next. So I'm very blessed to have that because right after that I had the opportunity to think about what type of jobs do I really want to do? What type of jobs do I want to be exposed to? Do I want to do sales? Do I want to do HR? Do I want to go straight for the masters? Those are the questions that I get to ask myself because I know what to expect. Yeah, but I only know what to expect because I mix with a lot of it. Not because I'm smart, but because I mix with people that are many years down that road already. Yeah.
So it was a smooth transition lah.
It was a very smooth, but the thing is that right after like two years now, I'm confused again because I'm in a different season of my life where it's like, do I really want to keep on doing everything that quote unquote should be done? Take degree, then take masters, then take job, then work, then die. Like I didn't want to do this anymore. So now I'm at the phase of like, do I want to maybe do something else that people don't really encourage you to do?
Like what?
Drugs.
I thought you tried already.
No, I
Yesterday you
didn't.
took my bro.
Oh, that one was weed. I running it.
Josh, what about you? What's your expectation after?
I think in contrast to Justin, mine is more of like I expected things to go very smoothly and it didn't. And like Justin said, like through those exposure, he already knew what he wanted. Mine was different because like I didn't even think of what I want to do. Because things always come like, how do I do it? Like on the first try, I always get things done. So for example, right, I applied for one job and I immediately got the job directly.
Yeah, we're damn unfair.
Yeah, so yeah,
Applied for
things.
hundreds. Asshole.
But I started as an intern first lah. But because I really like the culture of the company, so I joined as an intern. So when I got the job, I didn't even know what I wanted, but it's a HR intern job. So when I was doing the job, I thought, oh, HR is pretty fun. But the HR is actually for a startup company. So if you, so HR in a startup company and HR in a big corporate company is actually very different. In a startup company, you do everything, like even wipe the freaking window, fire extinguishers, a lot of impromptu like ad hoc stuff. Yeah, in the office that you have to do, other than just hiring people. But in corporate companies, the HR department has a few subdivisions. So for example, training.
Hiring, firing, salary, leave also got people.
Yeah. So every department has their own stuff to do. So it's very different. It's more focused and more in depth as well. Yeah. So that's what I found out. But when I was there, because I really liked the people there, and they wanted to switch me to a sales job, which I knew at that point I didn't want to do. But because I liked the company so much and the people there so much, I was willing to give it a try. Yeah. So I've been working there for around a year plus. Close to a year and 3 months around that. Yeah, and I found out that sales is really not something that I want to do. So it is true that I found okay, sales is not something I want to do. So maybe for the next job I'll try something else. For example, like operations or like something HR, but more towards like corporate companies. Yeah, maybe like internal recruitment as well. Yeah, so for me it's more of like cross checking. No, like how do you say?
Going out inter-department, is it?
Yeah, inter-department. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, going through different departments and really seeing what I want to do and what I don't want to do.
So like just to clarify, are you all both currently working?
I still currently am. Yeah.
I am not employed currently.
But you're in the midst of looking for something to
Yeah.
to indulge in.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, since you both have been in the working experience, was it like me with two different like experience when like looking for a job? What would you tell people that who are looking for a job, like who find it like super difficult lah?
Don't jump properly.
Like, any advice to give them? I mean, because like you said, like you got the interview. I mean, you got accepted straight away after the first one, right? And then you had some difficulty. So what was it like? What made you continue, and what's your experience having that?
For the interview process, you mean? Interview process.
Finding for a job, lah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I think first of all, I would definitely say like don't be so entitled. Like cannot swear, right? Shouldn't swear, right?
Try not to.
Try not to. Don't be a. I cannot think of a replacement word.
Just say it.
Don't be entitled lah. Don't be entitled, because like I have so many friends that's like, they went for 1 or 2 interviews, then they complain, oh, I didn't get the job, and it's like, or even worse, they didn't even get the interview, they just sent out resume, then they complain that nobody get back to them. It's like, dude, do you know how many fresh grads are being pumped into the system like every single semester? Like you send 2 or 3, then you complain nobody. Dude, I had to send like, I said hundreds. This fella sent 1 kena already. I mean, that's like his luck lah. But like, you just send only. And for me, like, I think this happened by accident. I applied for a job and then I very clearly didn't want it. But I would like, just for fun, I would say just apply for a job that you don't want it. For the first interview, if you're nervous, if you're very confident, then whack on it. Because for me, I was still very, very jittery about it, but I still went anyway. And then I understood, when you reach that time, right, that in the middle of the interview, I don't want this job, then you damn calm already. you damn no nerves already, because it's like whatever you do to me, right, I don't want the job.
for you, bro.
I mean for me, because after that, right, then I felt so prepared and so confident for every subsequent interview. Because I understand what needs to happen and I understand the process. So then it's like, okay, if I want the job, this is how I approach it. If I'm not really sure, then this will be how I approach it. But I was very, very grateful that the very first one I went to, I clearly didn't want the job. And so that would be for interviews. I would say just very humbly just send out only. Because you don't know, if it doesn't come back, then it doesn't come back, like, at least you send out. You don't gain anything by like not sending it. You get what I'm saying? No? So I would say you just hantam only, and you will never really know if you like or don't like the job until you actually try it. So I was very blessed that I have done B2C type selling, which is like business to customer, and then B2B is business to business. So like where one company sells its services to another company. But since I've already done sales, I understand that I'm good at it, but I don't particularly like it. So I didn't really want to do sales as a full like. And you show off your first class honors, let me show off sales. Yeah, so again, like it just so happened that I had the chance to do sales. So I understand that even if I do sales, it's not a long-term career progression. So like for him, he tried sales and he's good at it also, but he needs to try to understand that he's not that, he doesn't really want to do it long-term.
Yeah. And
pass the baton.
And related to what Justin shared earlier, he said something about like applying for 100 jobs, right, and not to be too entitled. I think I learned this the hard way actually, because like my first application and I got the job already, but I started applying like a month plus ago, and I realized that it's actually not that easy, and that's when I really realized, shit, I really need to apply for more jobs. Because I think firstly I applied for like 2 companies, then I was waiting for like a week plus for them to reply me, but they didn't reply me.
Apply to one and wait already.
I was really confused. Then I thought, I asked a few friends, I asked like a few recruitment consultants, then they gave me the same advice to just go for quantity, so apply for more jobs. And also I started looking for external recruitment firms as well, which is what I previously worked in. So like Robert Waters, Hayes, I worked in Hyattly. So more of like, because the people there, they actually know different companies. They're connected to various companies, and those companies are usually willing to pay for talents. So you kind of know that those companies are hungry for talents.
Right.
So I sent my profile into a few of those agencies, recruitment firms, and see how things go. And actually recently I just got one Singapore job interview, which I'll be going next week in Singapore. Yeah, and that's through a recruitment firm as well. So yeah, if you want to go like mass application, try recruitment firms.
So like the general tip is that to go for quantity, like basically like once you
Whack
graduate,
only,
just
really whack only.
whack your resume.
But I wouldn't say that that's super good at Wise lah.
Why?
Cause you whack only some people, cause I worked as a recruitment consultant before.
Okay.
Some people, they really apply to a lot of jobs, and when you call them, then they'll be like, what did I apply for again? What is this company again?
That's
That gives you a very bad impression.
Yeah.
Because like you apply and you don't even know what you're applying for, and what position as well, what company you don't even know. So it's more of like, do you really mean it or not? Yeah, so those are the things that I consider when I want to show a profile to my client. Yeah. Does this candidate really has the passion to work for them, or they are just like mass applying? So that's the other side of things as well.
Whack in moderation.
Yeah.
Whack but memorize.
Whack and memorize.
That's why I said like the first few that you go for, right, just let it be stuff that you don't want.
Right.
Because by the time you get used to like, because they will always ask you to write like short introduction about yourself, like especially if you apply online. So like if you apply to JobStreet, if you apply to all these type of portals, then they will have a section, not only you need to send in the resume, but you have to give a description about yourself. So by the time you start giving it, then you understand like, okay, what do I want to present myself as? Therefore, what type of jobs will I prefer? But you won't know that until you actually write. If you're so caught up, it's like, and again, for you to know what you want to apply for, you need to know what you want. You get it? You need to know what job you want, you need to know what position you want for you to apply with such specificity. So if you don't know that, you hantam to me. For me, that's what I did. After I apply already, then I understand, okay, this type of jobs, even if they call and they shortlist and they tell me tomorrow I get the job, I don't want it. Then from there I said, okay, I no longer apply to telecommunication, that's not industry I want. Okay, I no longer apply to property, that's not the job I want. But it's after I keep applying and they call, I have a lot of phone interviews. You didn't even go for the face-to-face interview. They call phone interview and it's like, hey bro, actually I don't want it. It's okay, dude, the HR is paid to call you, right? You know, it doesn't cost me anything to send. I mean, that is the approach that I took.
One of the best way to get to know or learn more about the company would be to go for an interview, because like by checking out their websites, by checking out their job descriptions, that's just words or pictures. There's nothing much you can feel or even like perceive from the company. So by talking to the HR person or your hiring manager, you sort of know like who you're working under, and from the interview itself, you can feel what sort of chemistry you have between you and the hiring manager or HR people or even the people in the company. Yeah, so that's something that people should know of as well.
So work culture is something you should definitely take into account for like
Depends
Culture,
what you want.
Yeah.
for me, yeah, culture is a huge thing.
Depends what you want.
Mm-mm.
Then what sort of culture? Like, do you want to elaborate? Like,
Oh.
the people.
What's a good work culture for you?
I can tell you what's a bad one.
I can tell you my perfect culture.
One
Very
good work culture, bad work
Yeah,
culture.
yeah,
You go first.
I tell the bad one.
Start with the bad
then,
one
yeah,
first.
start with the bad one.
Bad news first, right?
Yeah, because again, like from our previous encounters, you understand that like, I am the more impulsive one.
Yes.
So I go first, then I think later. But for him and my other friends, they put a lot of thought into what companies they're applying for. So that was the difference between the both of us. So my results may come faster, but I go through a lot of really bad experiences before that. So there's one interview I went for. It was a property company, and then it's based in Mont Kiara. Actually, I'm thinking so long, right? Just because I really want to spew the name out and defame them. But
No
my
name's
friends
gonna be
told me not to
mentioned.
do that many times. But basically, I went into. I'm not saying that all property companies bad. I enjoy that industry. It's very, very fun. So the first job interview I went was there, one of the first few, and the boss was 40 minutes late for my interview. 40. So I waited there for 40 minutes before he even showed face. So after he talked to me about it, I was like kind of pumped up to go into it because again I know property agents and I wanted to try this industry as well. So I went in after that, and upon entering the thing, I was supposed to be their trainee for like their sales trainee. And then when I was employed, right, they started introducing me to everybody as the top sales's personal assistant.
What? Oh.
So then I was like, maybe he misspoke the first time. Then the second, third time I was like, oh dude, I'm actually somebody's personal assistant. And so I just handle her Excel sheet, I handle all of her cases, I handle the clients that she deals with that she got no time to deal with personally. So that's the type of job stuff that I was doing. And the culture is just like everybody doesn't really talk. So they don't really talk to each other, and they don't really have good relations with the boss. Because the boss has a history of like withholding pay, cutting your commission and stuff like that. So that's the history and they know it already, and they already know. So you need to be the boss's favorite for that not to happen to you. Yeah, and if he has any cases, he will pass down to the agent that he likes or he trusts more lah. So after I slowly switched into being a full-on agent. From there, then already they started cutting my commission. They don't want to give me the few cases that I got. And from there, then I was like, cannot really, like this is not my fault if I leave already. So yeah, I left, and even after I left, they still didn't pay me, they didn't pay out. I need to go visit back a month or two later. So yeah, that's the type of cultures that I had. Also, like even when I joined a bigger company, this is a big MNC company, and the culture there is also like, it was really toxic because they have like over 100 people just in one building, and that's not really even the only building they have in Selangor. So like everybody doesn't really talk to different departments. So like maybe your HR, they don't talk to sales. The sales, they don't talk to operations. It's very like niche. Like sales, then we just charm salespeople only. If you go charm another, then everybody like, why you don't charm salespeople? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that was a culture that I have been exposed to, which was again, it's not a very good experience. But for him, he got a much better experience.
I wouldn't share specifically about what I experienced, but more of like what a good culture means to me. So when I first started to join the company, it's like because they have like a welcome party, and that's how you know it's a good culture. So like once you open the door, everyone's like standing in front of the entrance clapping, and like you have to walk one whole circle, like high five everyone and shake their hands.
So cute.
It's more of like a startup culture. So that's something that I really enjoy, and it gave me a very good impression. So that's really something, a very good start, I would say. Yeah, also a good culture also mean that a family. So a lot of people think that when you go to work, it's just work, you be like 8 hours with them, then after that you just go home, have dinner with your family. But for me, my company was amazing in a way where they are more than just colleagues, they are a family as well. Once in a while when I'm unhappy or if there's some personal issues going on, I know that I can rely on them to talk about that. Yeah, so other than just working, we can also talk about whatever that I want to talk about. And on top of that, they are also willing to spend time with you, like during weekends or like even after working hours, to have dinner or like to have supper together. You can just call them out. Yeah, so a second family is what I would call a good culture when it comes to a company. So that's something that I really enjoy. But on top of that, because I had a girlfriend back then as well, so sometimes like culture might be double-edged sword in
Whoa.
in many ways. Yeah. So firstly, it's like you start to spend more time with your company and less time with your real family or the people around you. That's one. And the other one is that when people in the company are too close together, right? There tend to be a lot of like
Friction.
when you're not close, like small things don't affect you, but when you're really close, like small things like you talking a bit about the other guy would affect you in terms of your reputation or like rumors or whatever. So there are a lot of like, these kind of things going on. So I would say that, you know, you can be in a good culture, but sometimes don't be too engaged, don't be too
I think you just need to be
involved.
careful lah.
Yeah,
Be smart
be
lah.
careful.
Cover your own butt lah,
Yeah.
basically.
No matter what, colleagues are still colleagues lah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
draw the
definitely
line lah.
Yeah, that's
Draw the
definitely
line,
something that's very, very different with university, because once we come out into work, right, even people that were that's another bad culture that I got. Like I had people that like they take my ideas or they take my work for Excel sheet to show my boss, and they show without me there, which I'm the one that helped to restructure this whole project. And before it even goes into like before you can do the implementation, that's the planning, right? He cut me out already. He straight bring to present to my boss already. So my boss always thinks that I'm the lazy one, that I'm not doing anything, because in front he's the one that presenting, but at the back end I'm the one that restructure the whole thing. So so then because I was very, very naive, like I like to think that I'm a nice person, I'm a nice guy. So if I'm nice to you, I expect it back lah, because I will not do anything bad to you ma. Like it's uni, that's kind of like it. If uni I don't like you, right, to your face I show you I don't like you already, because nothing's gonna happen to me, you get what I'm saying? But if you don't show face to like colleague or something, right, and you show to the boss's pet then you GG already, your life not gonna be very easy for you already. Yeah, so unfortunately, although like you said that you have good friendships and everything, you need to cover your butt lah. You don't just show everything
So like whatever that we know, like all the sort of bad sides of like working as a fresh grad and all, it actually does sort of happen.
Yeah, dude, totally man. This no shit man.
It's reality.
Yeah, don't share your weaknesses so fast.
Okay. Then how about as a fresh grad? Like just now you said that you can try like different jobs to see like what you really want. You know, but as a fresh grad, like once you get a job, is it really that easy to like leave a job and say that I don't want this, I'm gonna find something else? Because after all, we're still a fresh grad now, so we don't have that many years of experience to flaunt and to say that you should hire me and all. So how about actually leaving a job as a
Dude, I
fresh
think it's
grad?
damn easy. Again, that's the difference. Like for the past 2 years, he held one job, but for the past 2 years, I held like 3 or 4 jobs already. Yeah, because just like you said, you're a fresh grad, you don't hold experience, you got no bargaining power with company. They expect you to leave. You get what I'm saying? No? They hire fresh grads expecting they will leave in a few months, because they already understand that this, like especially with like older generation, especially if there's no like millennial in the hiring room, right? They understand that you will not stay very long with me, because our parents is like they stay, right? They get the job means 20 years in the end, right? Not.
Yeah.
But for us, it's like 2 months, bro, bored already, ciao. Like they have they expect that, so they plan for that to happen as well. I'm not encouraging you to leave for no good reason. Like for the very first one where people cut my commission, 3 months I leave already, because what for I stayed. You know what I'm saying? Then the other one I stayed for about 10 to 11 months. Also I left, and then another one I didn't even get in. then I left already. Yeah. But I feel that if you are in the job and you try it already, and you really put in effort, and you feel that this is not the industry I want, or this is not the department that I will enjoy, either if the company is good, then like just like him, maybe he will go in as an intern for HR. Then they say, hey, you want to try sales or not? Then it's like, okay, I don't mind trying. Then you try sales, hey dude, really cannot lah. Can I switch back to HR? Then switch back lah. Don't need to leave company ma, just switch department only. But if the company is not good, or you don't agree with the industry, then I don't see a problem with leaving because we are trying to understand ourselves more. Because I feel like right now we have the luxury is like, oh my god, I try to find my passion, try to find my dream. How are you going to do that if in the same place?
True.
Again, I'm not advocating that you just simply jump with the intention of jumping. I go in and I give my best, and if it's not what I like or not what I feel that I can continue to give you my best, then no point. You're wasting your salary with me also.
So like take care of yourself also lah.
Yeah, take care of yourself also.
How about Justin? You wanna?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Mr.
Joshua.
Zhang?
I slightly disagree with Justin's point of view of like employers hiring fresh grads, expecting that they will leave, because I've been working with quite a few employers myself because I was a recruitment consultant, and a lot of times when they want to hire a fresh grad, it's because they want to train a fresh grad up. They want to help them understand the basics of the company, and slowly by then they can promote them through the system or through the hierarchy of the company. So one of the biggest reasons why they want to hire fresh grads is because they're like a blank
slate.
Piece of
blank
paper.
slate, yeah, exactly, blank slate. So it's easier to train in a way because like you are not really filled with a lot of information, so it's easy to help you absorb what they have for you. And because when you learn things, right, you learn from another perspective as well. So if there's any improvements or anything that you want to change regarding the company's operations or processes, it's easier for you to implement them, because like you're not referring to anything else. It's just more of like you think of it
Coming with a very fresh perspective.
yeah, innovative stuff. You innovate new things. Yeah, so that's one of the biggest reasons why they want to hire fresh grads, because it's cheaper and also
Significantly cheaper.
easier to train. Yeah, and also they can groom you. Yeah, they don't have to hire like a 10K person just to get whatever experience that they have. If they think that they have the time and they have the people on top that are capable of training you, then they are willing to hire fresh grads as well. And Justin also spoke a bit about passion as well. Some people define passion of like what they like to do, what they want to do. But I was speaking to my ex-boss like a few months before I left, and he told me that passion, different people got different definitions of passion, and his definition of passion is like doing something and going the extra mile, regardless if you like it or not. Yeah, so initially I was like, how's that passion? That's just like doing something that is just doing something like regardless of if you like it or not. But as I was jobless for 3 months, and as I kept thinking about what he told me, it started to make sense. It's just more of like, sometimes passion can only be found when you achieve success. Like, you can only like something when you achieve success, right? So for example, if I'm doing sales, I don't like it because I'm not doing well. But what if I'm doing well, like I'm hitting every sales target, I'm getting a lot of commission every day, then you start liking it. And the only way to achieve success is when you try hard. And that is where passion comes into play, according to my boss's definition of passion. So that's something that I really am starting to understand, and I think it's pretty true as well regarding passion.
Actually, it sounds very legit because like for a lot of people, passion just means something that I like to do. Doesn't matter if like I'm getting paid or I'm not getting paid. It's something I like to do.
As long as you like it.
Yeah, as long as you like it. But when like reality hits and like I actually have got so much to do just because of that word passion, then that's where the word passion may actually change its definition. So yeah, I think that's really, really true.
Yeah.
Then what about a lot of people say like nowadays like us, our generation, we don't really value company loyalty. What's your opinion and perspective on that? Do you think it's still as important as it is compared to our parents' time, or it's not as important now?
Company loyalty.
I think because like in our parents' time, right, when you say company loyalty, it's because the company can take care of you as well. But right now, through many different recessions, I think they kind of prove that having a stable job is not your family is set for life already. So then I feel that when it came to us, it's like, again also because we grew up in a generation of access, where like we have a lot, everything's provided for us. Our parents usually like they have the kampong story. I grew up with nothing, then I need to work my way up. So having that job is like mandatory. No job means you burn don't eat already. For us, we get a job for fun. Like, dude, we work in a cafe as a barista for fun. Like that's shit that we do on the side. So can you see that? Yeah, right. So then like, what does company loyalty mean really? It means nothing because you're not working to save your life. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And also because I feel that maybe the company doesn't value you also lah. Like not every company, but like right now there's a lot more companies that I face that's like that lah. So to me, company loyalty not very high on my priority list anymore lah. Yeah.
I think in short, it's more of like the world is evolving in a lot of ways. Like last time, parents are like, if I get this job, as long as I get money, then I'll do it
for however long it takes. Now it's more of like you get information, like Justin said, from everywhere. Today I can find a HR job for 3K. Tomorrow I can find, there's another 3.5K doing the same thing. Yeah, and better culture, better environment or whatever. So you get information very easily, and that itself like helps you see more, helps you compare more. And in a way it affects how people work in a company as well. Why would I still work here if I can get something better over there? Yeah, but what a lot of people don't consider is that you need to start over again in terms of the progress. So let's say if you've been working here for 1 year and jumping over to the next company, you have to start from scratch again. Yeah, so that's something that people don't really consider, and something that sometimes people prioritize what they get over what they learn and their progress in a company.
And again, I think that the question should be more focused on what is that individual looking for. Like when you take things out of context and you only look at company loyalty or switching job or quitting, then it's kind of like you're downgrading those decisions to a binary choice. But there's so many other factors to it. Like right now, I'm at a place where it's like I want to discover more about myself, and I no longer want something stable. I want something risky. I want something that makes my heart pump, because I've already done everything that people are asking me to do. I did for the past 6 years. I did everything that I should have done. I did all the research I should have done, and I don't like it anymore because I have the rest of my life. I have another 30 years to do something stable. I want to feel like I'm going to die tomorrow right now. So then do you think company loyalty is something I'm looking for? Then it's not what I'm looking for anymore. But somebody that just came out, that's never worked a day in their life, maybe there's like, oh my god, I'm not sure if this company will fire me tomorrow because they've never worked before. So then to him, I need to be very loyal, I need to give 100% to this company, then their expectation, their worldview, all of that is different. So I feel is that obviously it's a good question and it's a good topic, but let's not undermine people's choice to something so black and white, so binary, because there's a lot of things that come into play when they're making a decision like that.
True. Okay, since we're all doing the same course, or you guys did the same course, was it as how do I say, the work life that they said that you can go into, is it as accurate as what they said back in university?
No.
You mean the career sense?
I mean
course?
the
career
career
sense.
like
They tell you right, so I can go into this field, a lot of things. But is it as true when you guys go to
Dude, legit, the major doesn't matter at all.
Yeah,
dude. I had interviews where they don't even ask for your transcript, man. They don't care about your GPA also. They only ask you what you do while you're in uni. they don't give a shit about your GPA, bro.
It's
like,
true that psychology is a very broad, what people say, broad course. So because you can go into like HR, sales, finance kind of, I don't know.
Actually, I'm going to interrupt you right there. Like, I don't even think that is psychology as a course. I think it's just a degree. Because in the jobs that I work, right, the person that is in marketing, he has an accounting degree. The person with the side degree is in sales. Another one is like the guy with the freaking mass comm or something, he was in the logistics. So it's like it doesn't freaking matter, because if I did a psychology degree, but on the side I do coding every day, then I'm going to apply for coding. It doesn't matter what my course was, makan, right? To me lah, because dude, somebody who studied accounting for 3 years is doing digital marketing. I have a friend who is in Australia doing he is the marketing department. He also did accounting. He took a course on YouTube to learn about digital marketing. And he is now paid in Aussie dollar to run the whole company's marketing. Do you think your degree really matters or not? It's what are you doing on the side. His brother took a course in coding. He did something like art related, and he's now doing coding for a company, also paid in Australian dollars. I don't think your degree really freaking matters, bro. What are you doing in the degree? That's what I keep saying. Again, my view is very different from the norm.
No, I do agree with that. Like, I do not in any case disagree with that.
Aww, I finally see.
Stop touching me.
It's on camera.
Oh god.
Now what about in terms of like more professional degrees like law, engineering, or medicine?
Dude, I know so many engineers. Damn sad. Like you think that lah, dude. I know a lot of freaking engineers that either they dropped out in the 3rd or the 4th year, or they finish engineering and then they go do culinary.
Yeah, there are people like that, but I feel like
But not all
usually,
lah,
yeah. I mean,
all
like
lah,
if you take a what do you call it, a technical degree, for example, engineering or like even accounting is a bit technical. Cause
yeah,
like,
it is technical.
what do you call that? The paper for accounting.
ACCA.
Yes, correct. ACCA, a doctor's degree,
Yeah, medical
like
degree.
WETs. Yeah, those are like usually if you take those, you already kind of know what you want to go into.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why you take that and you hope to go into that career. But sometimes people still stray away once in a while, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
Absolutely nothing.
there's nothing wrong with that.
I know somebody who finished a medicine degree. She's currently doing HR. I know another one who did engineering who's now doing sales for Honda or Toyota. Doesn't freaking matter, man.
True.
Yeah, even like engineering, because there is technical sales as well. So like for technical sales, you need to know a bit about the
product, yeah.
the engineering side of things, how the product works. And you having an engineering background actually gives you a very good foundation to sell the product if your interest is in sales. So you know, I mean in the end, if you like something and if you do it, you'll find a way to do it.
还是你不要靠着 your degree to like 推你上来。
Yeah.
If your major is the only defining factor that you are trying to find a job with, I think you did something wrong somewhere already. Along your timeline, you messed up somewhere already. So like, as long as it's just another thing that you have, it shouldn't be the only thing, the main thing, the major thing. It should just be another
extra,
thing,
yeah.
another thing in your arsenal. Should be just one of the bullets. It shouldn't be the only weapon.
So would it be as like sort of an okay choice if let's say people don't go to university at all? So it's like after SPM they straight go for an internship and they build their experience from there instead of like going to uni and getting a degree, because just now you mentioned that degree isn't everything. It's not the major thing. It's not the
It's a
deciding
very
factor.
expensive
mah.
ticket,
Yeah, it's very expensive ticket actually. So would it be actually a safe sort of an okay thing? A safe choice to forego the degree itself?
I wouldn't say so, because like regardless of what we are saying right now, this is from our own perspectives. But if you tell this to like a lot of corporate companies out there, no matter what, some requirements are like at least a foundation, at least A levels, or at least a degree. They really stick to what they are looking for, and they really filter through the CVs just by doing that. And I remember going for foundation. I think during foundation, my first orientation, and I think the dean was saying that this course or this thing that you're doing right now is just a passport for you to go into the interviewer's room. But if you get the job or not, it's up to you. It's how you present yourself and how you do well in the interview. So that's something that still sticks to me, because I think that's really true. What do you think?
I feel that like we would not be very good candidates to answer this question because we have the privilege of having a degree. We have privileged parents that can afford to send us there. But if you're not going to go into a degree, that's fine. But again, you need to be very clear as to what you want, because certain options will no longer be available to you, such as a corporate job. You know, maybe in a startup, I'm not saying that startups are like less standard, but like maybe startup, if you, another thing I want to say, if you're not going to get a degree, you better have a shit ton of connections. You better have really good connections, and you better be charismatic as AF, man. Because if you're just like a quiet dude with no degree, cannot talk, I think your life is going to be quite difficult lah. But if you're not going to go degree and you're going to do a lot of different work, like different type of jobs, then I feel that that's the path that you go down. Understand that M&C jobs will no longer be open to you. And if you are okay with those consequences, then definitely freaking go for it, man. There's like, again, not like we're using our degree a lot also. Like you said, it's just a passport to get into the interviewer's room. If you suck as an individual, the passport is no use to you also, man. Right, not how you go in, you're gonna mess the interview up anyway, man.
So whether or not, just to wrap up that part lah. So whether or not you go to uni and get a degree or not is more based on whether you
what you want
confirm of what you want in it.
And whether you're okay dealing with the consequences of that lah.
Alright.
And just to wrap up this session, so it's like any tips you want to give to people who are going to graduate?
Expose yourself.
Dude, going to graduate too late already, bro.
Go and graduate.
But
Don't
like
graduate
those who are
yet.
currently in university.
Year 3 lah,
Yeah.
for those year 3s.
Year 3, right.
Yeah, go out there, fun.
I would say definitely, if you're already in year 3, you only have a year left, start making connections. That's the only thing I can say. If you're year 1, right, I will tell you like, just pass. You everything, at least don't get lower than credit, you good already, legit, and then you go do club stuff. legit
Plus
go do a
honors
lot of
in
clubs.
ABC.
It's like this, no, don't listen to him. It's like because I feel like go out and join clubs, hold posts and all that type of stuff. Because then when interviewers ask you, you get to say stuff like, I handle team and shit like that. And also you get to actually understand, especially events in uni they go outside for events. So like those type of charity runs and stuff like that, you actually need to deal with Mataran, you need to deal with Rela, all that, right? You will understand how the real world works already. It's not so clear cut as like, let me just ask my student affairs department. It's like, it's not so clear cut anymore, it's not so simple. But if you're already in year 3, you only have a year left, then I would say go make connections, go join clubs that you enjoy, get certs, join competition, join groups of people that share similar interests, so that when you leave uni already, right, you at least still have connections that you can fall back on after you leave.
Connections is important for sure, like I wouldn't
Freaking
deny that. Freaking important. But on top of that, like coming from someone who has always paid a lot of emphasis on education, I feel like education, like your results are still important in a few ways. Not a lot of ways, in a few ways. But
Maybe one or two.
what I would say is that do not prioritize education or like your results so much to the extent that you are like, what's that word?
You are like
You
I know
sacrifice your time
forgoing and
for,
stuff.
yeah, to gain more exposure, to learn what the real world really is. Because I feel like my year 1 and year 2 was sort of like that, and during year 3 I started to open up to new experiences, and I believe things would be very different if I do things earlier like that. I don't know if I'll still get a first class honours or not, but now looking back, I feel like first class is only important because of the PTPTM loan. Nothing more than that. Yeah, that's the only thing that really was the only factor towards the end. Yeah, but anyways, exposure is really important, and connections as well.
So I guess the keyword here would be balance. Like the
Balance.
balance
Yeah.
between your extracurricular activities plus your studies as in the GPA and CGPA.
Yeah, don't like freaking fail lah. Like I say all this stuff like don't focus, but I still score one lah.
And
Just don't fail.
Just don't fail.
Yeah,
As you see, if you don't fail, then it's okay, what, right?
Failing's okay, but you learn from it.
Oh, then
Just
But that's where the money comes in, in degree,
I mean, okay lah. Not everyone is that smart. So I guess
Yeah, I mean like because like when you fail, then it costs money, ma.
True
like,
also, yeah.
the resource fee, I think.
Yeah, and quite frankly, this type of like, okay, yeah, that's gonna come off as arrogant lah. Like, I don't think it's that difficult. No, because the system pushes you through.
What's not difficult?
Like exams and like assignments and stuff like it's not that hard. Like there are ways to get around it. You can pay someone, you can copy like.
Wait.
I'm just saying that there are ways to not fail. There are good ways, there are not so good ways, there are cheap and free ways, but there are many ways for you not to fail. So I feel like if you still fail with so many options, you have Google. You have freaking Google, dude. There are ways around turning it in. You just rearrange the structure of sentences, also cannot get caught already. So it's like if you still fail with all of these resources, then it's like maybe you're trying the wrong method.
Okay.
Yeah, we just leave it at that. I think people have their perspective about me is changing with every sentence.
I strongly agree.
Oh, this dude pay. Hey dude, there was once I had somebody that asked me, he will pay me like $5,000 to do his.
I thought it's $1,000.
Dude, $5,000, bro.
$5,000,
5K to do his thesis.
Honestly,
you tell me there's no other way.
Bro, I don't
You
think
take it?
thesis is worth
No.
$5,000. Thesis is worth more than $5,000. That's one whole year of work.
Yeah, no, it's actually too nice of work for me.
Fuck you.
Whoa, no.
How do you write proposal, collect data and everything in one
Bro,
day?
let me brag with my data collection, right? I did after the closing date now, within 1 week, got it already. That's number one. People take 2 semesters, 1 week, settled. Second thing, right, is I still did my entire thesis from abstract to conclusion within 1 day. And from 106 until my thesis, every single assignment was done within 24 hours. Within
I
14,
think
sorry.
If any lecturer is watching this, he would definitely not recommend it.
Thesis
Okay.
really proud, guys.
Alright, so we're going off topic, but let's wrap it there lah. So
Okay,
with the after uni life experience and for you guys sharing. So thank you guys again for joining us. Part 2.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yep.
So see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Hello.